This story will change your life for the better. The Journey of Sophie. Finding Confidence. Part 1. The Beginning. Sophie lived in a quiet village surrounded by green hills and flowing rivers. She was a gentle girl with a kind heart, but she always felt different from the others. Sophie was very shy and often doubted herself. She avoided crowds and kept her thoughts to herself, wondering why she couldn't be as confident as the other girls. Sophie spent most of her days alone, reading books and dreaming about adventures she was too scared to have. Her village was small, and everyone seemed to know everyone else's business. This made Sophie even more self-conscious. She was terrified of making a mistake or saying something foolish, so she rarely spoke up. Part 2. The Chance Encounter. One sunny afternoon, Sophie was walking through the village market when she noticed an elderly woman struggling with her bags. Without thinking twice, Sophie rushed over to help. The woman smiled warmly and said, "Thank you, dear. You have a kind soul. What's your name?" "Sophie," she replied softly. The woman introduced herself as Mrs. Harper and invited Sophie to her cottage for tea. Sophie hesitated but then decided to accept the invitation. Mrs. Harper's cottage was cozy, filled with the scent of fresh herbs and flowers. As they sipped their tea, Mrs. Harper shared stories of her adventurous youth. "I used to be very shy too," Mrs. Harper confessed. "But then I realized that life is too short to hide. So, I started doing one brave thing every day, no matter how small." Part 3. A Spark of Inspiration. Sophie listened intently, amazed by Mrs. Harper's stories. She felt a spark of inspiration. The next day, Sophie decided to step out of her comfort zone. She volunteered to read a poem at the village's monthly gathering. Her heart pounded as she stood in front of the crowd, but as she began to read, she felt a sense of calm wash over her. The villagers applauded, and for the first time, Sophie felt proud of herself. Encouraged by this small success, Sophie started to engage more with the community. She joined the local art club and began painting again, something she loved but had abandoned out of fear of judgment. Her paintings were full of life and color, reflecting the beauty she saw in the world. People began to notice her talent and admire her work. Part 4. The Talent Show. One day, the village announced a talent show, and Sophie decided to participate. She chose to sing a song she had written herself. On the night of the show, as she stood on the stage, her legs trembled, but she remembered Mrs. Harper's words and took a deep breath. Sophie sang her heart out, and when she finished, the audience erupted in applause. Tears of joy filled her eyes as she realized that she had found her voice. Part 5. Blossoming. Sophie's life began to change in ways she had never imagined. She made new friends, discovered new interests, and most importantly, started to believe in herself. The shy girl who once doubted her worth had transformed into a confident young woman who embraced life with open arms. Sophie learned that confidence is not about being perfect. It's about embracing who you are and taking small steps toward your dreams. With each step, no matter how small, she grew stronger and more self-assured. She understood that her uniqueness was her strength and that being different made her special. Part 6. The journey continues. As the years went by, Sophie continued to blossom. She traveled to new places, met people from different cultures, and shared her story with others who struggled with self-doubt. She became a beacon of hope, showing that even the shyest among us can find their voice and shine brightly. Sophie's journey was a testament to the power of courage and self-belief. She found confidence not by changing who she was, but by embracing her true self. And in doing so, she inspired others to do the same. Part 7. The Village Festival. Every year, the village held a grand festival to celebrate the harvest. This year, Sophie was asked to help organize the event. It was a huge responsibility, and at first she felt overwhelmed. But remembering Mrs. Harper's advice and her own experiences, she decided to take it on. Sophie worked tirelessly, coordinating activities, arranging performances, and decorating the village square. On the day of the festival, everything went perfectly. The villagers enjoyed the games, food, and music, and many complimented Sophie on her efforts. She felt a sense of accomplishment that she had never felt before. Part 8. Mentorship. One day, a young girl named Mia moved to the village. Mia reminded Sophie of herself when she was younger. Shy, unsure, and afraid to speak up. Sophie saw this as an opportunity to give back. She befriended Mia and shared her story, encouraging her to step out of her comfort zone. With Sophie's guidance, Mia began to open up. She started participating in village activities and even performed a dance at the next festival. Watching Mia grow and gain confidence brought Sophie immense joy. She realized that her journey was not just about her own growth but also about helping others find their strength. Part 9. A New Adventure. Years passed, and Sophie continued to thrive in her village. But she knew there was more to see and experience in the world. With the support of her friends and the wisdom she had gained, Sophie decided to travel. She wanted to explore new cultures, learn new languages, and meet people from all walks of life. Her travels took her to bustling cities and remote villages, from towering mountains to serene beaches. Everywhere she went, Sophie shared her story and inspired those she met. She wrote about her experiences, turning them into a book that became a bestseller. People from around the world read about Sophie's journey and found the courage to pursue their own dreams. Part 10. Coming Home. After years of traveling, Sophie returned to her village. She was greeted with warm smiles and open arms. The villagers had followed her adventures through her book and were proud of all she had accomplished. Sophie felt a deep sense of fulfillment as she looked around at the place where her journey began. Sophie continued to paint, write, and mentor young people in her village. She knew that her story was far from over and that there were still many more chapters to be written. Her confidence had become an unshakable part of her, and she knew that no matter where life took her, she would always carry that strength within her. Epilogue. Sophie's journey was a testament to the power of believing in oneself. She had transformed from a shy, uncertain girl into a confident, inspiring woman. Her story showed that confidence is not something that happens overnight, but a journey of small steps and brave decisions. Sophie's life was a shining example of how embracing who you are and daring to dream can lead to a life full of joy, adventure, and fulfillment. Through her experiences, Sophie learned that true confidence comes from within. It's about accepting yourself, celebrating your uniqueness, and daring to shine. And in doing so, she inspired countless others to find their own path to confidence and happiness. Part 11. Legacy of Inspiration. Sophie's story spread far and wide, touching the hearts of many. She was invited to speak at schools, universities, and conferences around the world. People wanted to hear about her journey, and Sophie was always happy to share her experiences. She spoke about the importance of self-belief, the power of small steps, and the beauty of embracing one's true self. Her book was translated into multiple languages, and readers from different countries wrote to her, expressing how her story had changed their lives. Sophie was deeply moved by these messages and realized the profound impact her journey had on others. Sophie continued to write, painting vivid pictures with her words just as she did with her brush. She published more books, each one a beacon of hope and inspiration. Her art exhibitions drew large crowds, and her paintings were celebrated for their vibrant colors and emotional depth. Part 12: Passing the Torch. As Sophie grew older, she decided to pass on the torch to the next generation. She trained young artists and writers, helping them find their own voices and confidence. She established scholarships for talented but underprivileged youth, ensuring that everyone had the opportunity to pursue their dreams. Sophie's mentorship program expanded, reaching villages and towns beyond her own. The network of confident, inspired young people she helped create began to make a positive impact in their communities, spreading the message of self-belief and courage. Part 13: A Lifetime of Fulfillment. In her later years, Sophie looked back on her life with a sense of fulfillment. She had lived a life full of adventure, creativity, and love. She had faced her fears, embraced her uniqueness, and found her voice. She had helped others do the same, creating a ripple effect of confidence and inspiration. Sophie continued to paint and write, her heart always full of passion and purpose. She spent her days surrounded by friends and family, enjoying the simple pleasures of life. She often visited Mrs. Harper's grave, leaving flowers and whispering words of gratitude for the woman who had sparked her journey so many years ago. Epilogue: The Butterfly Garden. In her village, there was a beautiful garden known as the Butterfly Garden. It was filled with vibrant flowers and fluttering butterflies, a symbol of transformation and beauty. The garden had been Sophie's idea, a place where people could come to find peace and inspiration. One sunny afternoon, Sophie sat in the butterfly garden, watching the butterflies dance among the flowers. She smiled, feeling a deep sense of contentment. Her journey had been long and sometimes difficult, but it had also been incredibly rewarding. Sophie's legacy lived on in the hearts of those she had touched. Her story was a reminder that no matter how shy or uncertain one might feel, it is always possible to find confidence and shine brightly. The shy girl who had once doubted herself had become a beacon of hope and inspiration for countless others. Sophie's life was a testament to the power of believing in oneself and the beauty of embracing one's true self. And in doing so, she had changed not only her own life but the lives of many others, leaving a legacy of courage, confidence, and kindness.